Willkommen, bienvenue, welcome one and all to another Love Entrepreneur show with, of course, the incomparable, the incandescent Ellery Coslet. And today we're talking about the flagship of Love Entrepreneurs, which of course is The Big Fix, and importantly, how one reacts or feels having gone through the Big Fix. Ellery, very good morning to you, and Rory. Ellery, what are we talking about exactly today?
Well, we're talking about Rory's big fix that he had yesterday. So I'll be very interested to see what Rory thinks of it and how he felt the process went. How did you feel, Rory, the process went?
Thanks for asking, Ellery, and thanks for the awesome introduction there, Gareth, with the energy.
Pleasure. Thank you.
When I came along, I had an idea of what to expect, but also I've been to one already, so I've seen where it would be useful. So I was looking forward to that, and we did agree to approach it in a slightly different way to usual, isn't it? However, I got to, because of how where I am at in my business and what kind of things I'm designing, it was better for me to share it from a taster experience of the business to see what landed and get the feedback, rather than just start to launch into the typical story or the I help with do this or do that. So we did a kind of interactive presentation, and I had loads of fun with it, and it showed me where I'm at with it without having to plan too much as well. So what it showed me was that I could, where I was at was how much I've learnt, sort of, to be able to explain it and run through that with just a little bit of mental rehearsal before. So that was really, really good, and I really enjoyed Larry's energy that she brings and introduces it and guides it naturally very, very well as well. So,
she is rather good at that sort of thing.
I felt very well sort of introduced and held, as it were.
There you go.
Well, there we go. Thank you very much. The check will be in the post, no doubt. So what did you feel? I mean, because just to explain to the audience, you know, what you may want to explain to the audience what it is that you do.
Mm-hmm. Yes. Okay.
That was a cue.
Sorry, put you on the spot, Rory. What do you do?
Who are you, Rory? Anyway, you know.
I just got to get the cogs going now. So, yeah, I'm on the version 1 of the Dyslexic Brain startup. You know, it takes the.
Don't worry, you're in good company here. I'm autistic and dyspraxic, so I'm good with this.
Yeah. So yeah, what I actually do is, do you know how entrepreneurs generally in themselves struggle with procrastination, perfectionism around getting their projects out there, and it really comes back down to the decision-making processes they're making it moment to moment. And so I help heart-centered or empathic or hypersensitive entrepreneurs, neurodivergents, whether they label it, it's an emerging field. So it's not just a quick, hey, I sell apples. This is a neurodivergent, heart-centered creative to get back into their creative flow. But it's not about just their art, selling their art or helping them get their art out there. It's how the art of themselves and the decision-making processes they make are so important, because they, you know, you can get really successful and be really, really stressed and burn out and become really unhealthy, or you can be really satisfied and eating cake all day and really happy with your life, but not get anywhere. So my point being, satisfaction and success are really important to define, and then work on the decision-making process and get into creative flow state every single day to make it happen, where it's it's fulfillment, and it's not burning out at the same time. So it's going from procrastinations, perfectionisms and self-sabotage to getting those projects out there with satisfaction and success in a way that's meaningful and passionate.
Can I ask you a question, Rory? What attracted you in the first place before it was explained to you in detail? What attracted you to wanting to take part in a big fix?
Great question. I was invited along with I was working with a wonderful lady that I've helped coach, and she's helped me book mentor, and so there's this reciprocal
Can we have her name? We might as well name check her.
Yes, Kay Reeve.
Oh, I know Kay. Kay's
Yes.
my good friend. Excellent. Yes, lovely.
Yeah,
we all know Kay. Lovely Kay. Yes.
Yeah, brilliant. So we were working together, and she's made massive changes in her life and business and health and productivity, and I've got a book out in 90 days with her help, because again, just the structure and boom I could just do it. So she introduced me to the silver method, the silver tree. Yes, and that's where I met Aleri, because I was invited into it. And this is actually comes back to one of the ways in which I've learned to help myself and not burn out, is to conserve my energy and conserve and build my source, and then get invited to things. Because if I'm not one of those implementers every single day doing the same thing over and over again, because it doesn't work that way for me. And this is where personal energy branding comes into play. We could talk about that in a sec, but yeah, it's about knowing yourself and how you put yourself out there. So that, for me, I got to just be me and be patient and keep my energy precise and correct until I was invited to that. And so I was invited along, and now I got to experience something amazing, because I'm recognized, and that's where I'm meant to be, be recognized, invited, and then I can change lives through that process.
Larry, did you find that the big fix was a natural home for what Rory was trying to put across?
Yeah, because I've long thought, actually, that entrepreneurs, one of the things, because originally Rory created this framework, and he talks about people who are neurodiverse, right? So one of the things that was of huge interest to me as he was talking through what he did, so just to be clear, right, entrepreneurs, whether they're neurodiverse or neurotypical, often struggle with decision making. Their mind is like a washing machine, it's going like that, and they can never settle on anything. More is never enough. It's like being an alcoholic, but in real time without the alcohol. It's just it's the overflow of emotions, and many of them are real creatives, right? So process things are not their wheelhouse. So what Rory was doing was taking us through the way that we make decisions, and then describing the feelings that come with making those decisions and the overwhelm. And I was like getting so much identification with what he was talking about. It then struck me as interesting, to ask the question to the big fix, is this something for only neurodiverse people, or is this something that entrepreneurs and many business leaders face anyway? And therefore the question was, I asked the question at the end of the big fix yesterday. I said, how many people here who don't consider themselves neurodiverse would actually think that this would be a benefit to them? And everybody put their hands up, which aped what I'd felt intrinsically, that this is a system of learning to let that energy go. Because what happens is we overthink everything. We're hypersensitive. Everything is relevant and nothing is irrelevant, because we need that overflow of emotion to create. The problem is when sometimes the stuff that we let in is a negative thing, our mind then focuses on that negative thing and then ruins the rest of the creative process.
Right.
So Rory was teaching us a methodology between taking us through the idea through the head, then bringing it right down through touching and feeling and thinking about the idea to the heart, and then taking it down to the gut. Now, this might sound a bit weird, but it actually worked really well because it made things that we really, we've all got those really bloody niggly things that we don't want to do, but we don't know. We think, when we actually do them, we all sit there going, well, gosh, why didn't I do it earlier? Why didn't I do it earlier? It's easy. I did it. But those things become mountains in our minds. And it's about teaching the entrepreneur, get rid of those mountains, get rid of those mountains. And we were talking about a name for Rory. Many people, Gower came up with something brilliant, and it was the hurdler. The idea of a gliding hurdler, gliding over those hurdles, rather than bashing into the hurdle and bashing into the wall. But, this is something that's relevant to all of us. We have problems with it. When you say to somebody that's why it's worth explaining it. It's not just about decision making, but it is, right? But it's more than that. It's that feeling, that emotion that comes to stop us. So we make a decision and then we wonder, well, why didn't I do it? Well, the reason
I think the technical term for that is executive dysfunction, isn't it, really?
Well, it could be, yeah, but I'd rather not look at it as massive dysfunctionality. There's too many labels anyway. This easy process, if we practiced it, gets rid of that and just makes us do the next right thing, the next right thing, the next right thing. And we get into a modus of doing it. And, of course, that's not the only thing that Rory does, but that was an example of what he did. And I thought that was wonderful.
Well, Rory, I'm sorry I missed it. Unfortunately, I was writing some music at the time, so my head was right up my whatever's doing that. So you know how it gets. But no, I think it's not just neurodiverse. I think neurodiverse people tend to focus in on those kind of areas more acutely. But I think everybody suffers from, sorry, I'm going to use that word again, some degree of executive dysfunction. Often they're presented with so many options, they don't know which one to take, and they're scared of taking the wrong ones. So they end up taking nothing.
Or worse, they do half of something. This is what I do, right? I do a bit of that, a bit of that, a bit of that, a bit of that, and end up doing nothing, and end up just
nothing gets complete. It's all in process. I have suffered from that before now, I have to say. But I guess getting someone to help you externally to see, because often when you're so close to it, you can't see that the problem exists at all. As far as you're concerned, you're in the mire, but if you keep swimming, you'll get to the other side eventually. Whereas if you could then stop and prioritize the certain bits that perhaps give you joy, or the bits that actually feed you, get from an energetic point of view, you're probably going to, I'm guessing, Rory, help me out here, enjoy the process more. I get more out of it.
100%, yeah. It's that thing of the techniques. Once they're there and they realize how simple they are, and putting the discipline in place allows to see what's possible to change. That's been my mantra all my life since I went through a period of psychosis, and in my early 20s, or pretty much 20 years old, and healed out of that in 14 weeks through reflexology, which was something that was, I don't know that many people that can say that they've gone from mental exhaustion to feeling better again in 14 weeks. And I'm not here to say it's a magical miracle. I can do that for other people. It was that my circumstance and potentially what I actually had created for myself, my own choices through the patterns that I'd learned in the first place that got me there. I'm willing to say that was my responsibility for that, because if I don't take responsibility for my own thoughts, feelings, and actions at any moment, which is what I've learned later on with the coaching and the leadership, is to come back and look at that and go, oh yeah, I must have decided that so that I could learn to get out of it again somehow. And so it can be a very, very eventually more easy process. I really love the analogy of the whirlpool. And so if there's like a few people all walking around in a whirlpool together in like a hot tub or something, and you walk really, really fast, and there's an inertia, and one person wants to turn around and go the other way and say, hey, I think we're all going the wrong way. It's like really difficult. It feels really difficult because there's an inertia of what other people are saying, and also what we believe is possible, even if we have a conscious choice to go, this isn't working, I want to go this way. And so that inertia of our own habits is going round, even if it's not other people, and just trying to turn around and go the other way. It's going to be a lot of effort, first of all, but that effort doesn't have to mean that we're wrong or difficult, and then and yeah, it's okay to go the well, just take time with it.
I'm a living embodiment of that. I say in what I do to go the opposite direction to the way most people go, and often the biggest problem is not getting them to go that way, but to get them to stop doing what they're doing so they can consider an alternative. That's the biggest problem, because as you say, once you're stuck in that momentum, that inertia of going forward, and everybody else is doing it too, so why would you want to go in the opposite direction? It's the natural logic of it. And so and in what I do, I often say to people, stop doing anything, let's consider what's really relevant to you, and then start doing that. Now, I guess in what you do, you're getting people to almost look in from the outside at themselves, because often when you're right in the middle of it, you ain't saying nothing. All you're saying is your nose is up to the paper, as it were. You need to be able to stand back and see what the truth of the situation is, and that's very hard to do, isn't it, Rory?
Yeah, it's when we've got it's actually what I'm learning again for myself when I've done my core identity approach to looking at my own self and being able to fill up myself first, not from an egotistical point of view, but just as an enough point of view and feeling good about what I'm bringing to the world point of view every single day. But that's my own unique blueprint that I get to do and notice, and then put that back out there. Then the real sort of inertia becomes, okay, I feel full now. How do I help others with that process? That's another story. Again, the next level. But some people try it the other way around, and that's okay. Like looking for the ICP, the ideal profile of the client, and then they don't feel full enough themselves to.
No, I don't know if you come across spoons as a method of describing mental state. If anybody wants to look it up, it's quite interesting. You start off with a certain number of spoons, and after a while, you've given out all your spoons. You've just got none left. You must have enough spoons to be able to deal with what your stuff is going on before you can help anybody else. Larry, the whole point about the Big Fix is to enable people to, I think, see their product, the service, their idea as others would see it. Because I think when you're right in it, you don't always see it, do you?
Yes, and to see it, of course, as others would see it, but of course not to lose the core faith in what you're doing, and to be able to maybe adapt your core faith in what you're doing and adapt it to what others want to see.
Right.
I think that's really crucial because, we're all in business to try and help people. Certainly we are. Help people. We need to make money too. Hence the Silver Tree, business model. It's a great way to be able to conserve cash and spend money without spending money. So we're it's another innovation. So what we're trying to do at the Big Fixes is to really shake up the tree and almost say to people, listen, if you have 30 minutes to live and sort this problem out, and you were guaranteed that the problems would all be sorted, what would you do? And that is a really interesting question to ask them, because then you get to the truth of what they really want to do. If you take the financial, because really a lot of this is identifying what are your barriers really. What's the barriers that are actually sitting in your brain? Often they're not what you think they are. Often it's you that's sitting in your own way, but you don't even see that because you're busy deflecting your inner problems onto everybody else by, let's just do sales, let's just do more and more and more, without understanding that you're emitting an energy from within you. And when you're transmitting an energy at a low level, you are not going to be successful selling. Hence why what Rory does is so important, because he talks about that we must make sure that your glass is full first, that you are full inside, so that you are absolutely sure in what you're doing, such that you exude confidence and give others confidence in what you do. I think that's the key. And then you get loads of these ideas, random ideas, you know. I mean, the one thing that came from yesterday, Rory, of course, is ready to go big and, you know, all of that. And I'm saying, well, that's lovely. That's fantastic. But why don't we just start now with something? You know, because, you know, we can always wait to go massive. I mean, that's fine. We can do massive any time of day or night. But, you know, let's get going and let's do something for Love Entrepreneurs community and the Silver Tree community. Let's get doing something right here and right now. Because there's no substitute. You, Gareth, you do this all the time. You say, come on, let's get on with it. And people just freeze. It's like, no, I need to launch properly. And I'm like, well, what's the point in launching this to two people, or half a person, or nobody?
Yes. Do you know what?
There's going to be thousands of people waiting to pay the money. And I'm afraid it's not true, because there's so much noise out there. So we might as well stand aside from the noise. You know, the quicker we get involved in the thrall is better. And also, one thing I learned from Rory, and this is really important for everybody, is start to create your tribe or your followers or your sales through your energy. Do not waste time with people that do not match your energy. It is going to be a lost cause and it's going to drive you nuts. Just go with the flow of energy. Try it. It does actually work. With people who float your boat, they're the people who are going to bring new clients in and benefit. There is no point trying to convince loads of people where your energy doesn't match, because it ain't going to work.
No, absolutely. It's critical. I think, I mean, Rory, do you find that when people first start on your process, that they've almost got to push down their own natural barriers to be able to see how they really are before they can then mesh their energy with others?
That's a great question. And it really, I think it's like a lot of the time, it's not realizing that there's so much in the way, like you said, about the what we call sabotage or saboteurs in the mind, the patterns, catching them and going, oh yeah, there they are again, and coming back to neutral self-command, relaxation, slowing that down, that process that I went through, and then also into creating empathy or creativity or navigation, or these things.
On the ticker tape there, it says be more
I'm going to put in a better one now. It's too long, so I'm creating a short link to it so that you can see it, and I'm also going to put up a QR code in the same in a second as well. So let me just do that. Oh, hang on. And then people can see. So there we go. That's much shorter, isn't it? There you go. So learn more, crave less. It's an opportunity to find out more about who you are, why you appeal to others, and then make it easier for them to inexorably become part of that. I'm also going to pop up a quick QR code in the corner there. That QR code will take you to the same place. So whether or not you want to copy that down, or if you want to scan the screen, that'll give you the opportunity to take part in it. Now, Rory, if they take part in this, how is it going to make them feel, do you think? Can we give them some idea of what their achievable goal is from it?
Well, it is the word clarity comes to mind. Okay, getting clear, so important, because it can be just the emotional piece, which is what people were driven to. They were going to either buy emotionally, but there's a clarity to it. Getting clear on it enough for them to actually see why it's important is why people will buy it at all. So we're just creating a conversation to get as clear as possible on what that is first. And I like to say there's the three things we talked about: decision making on the big fix, and before that is vision. So it's coming back to clarity of the vision. So vision, decision, and precision. Vision, decision, precision. So vision is so important because that is that sort of big mountain, but then bring the mountain here and hurdle the mountains by just being in the moment with them. Like Larry was saying, what's the 30 minute do it now thing that you would actually do? And that's so important to remember, that vision doesn't have to be all the things I want to create over the next 10 years. It's just what is actually truest and important from here, and passions and purpose right now, and then take the actions. So if that vision is not clear, then the decisions will be like, oh, I'll eat when I feel like it, or do this.
Yeah, you have to relate the decision to your vision for it to have mental meaning and for it to go down the body and be a whole part. Yay!
So what I want to do is I'm going to wind this up now. Thank you so much for taking part in this, Rory. Thank you, Larry, for facilitating it. Can I point you also to another QR code? I know QR codes abound, bottom left-hand corner. If you are interested in being part of the Big Fix, please scan that code. It will start your process. It will cost you nothing. You'll come out feeling that you understand more about yourself, as well as how you are perceived, or how your product, service, or idea is perceived by others. And it can only help to a better understanding. Also, please do look at Silvertree, SILVATREE, which is another amazing innovation that Ellery put together as well. I think it will help you to understand that.
You can pay for Love Entrepreneurs in silver if you want to. That's the thing, you know. And can I just say, people ought to make it a good practice to come to the Big Fix regularly, because what you get from it, listening to other people's Big Fixes, you get ideas about your own business all the time. It's shaking up that tree all the time, moving forward momentum. So that's very, very important. So brilliant. Yeah, good job, Rory. Lemonade. I love that lemonade. That's cool. Better than Kool-Aid, right?
Well, you know what they say, if life gives you lemons, make lemonade. There you go. Thank you very much. I don't know where I'm a poet, but I'm not sure I know it.
What I really got from the Big Fix as well is that feedback system as well. Feedback is so important for being neutral and just taking what you get from it. So, like you just said, if you're in the panel, then you also learn, and if you're on it, then you learn as well. So we all learn if you choose to.
All right. Well, it just remains for me to say thank you so much, Ellery Coslet. Thank you so much, Rory Lemon, and thank you all of you for watching. And we're here every week celebrating different aspects of Love Entrepreneurs. At the moment, we're focusing on what happens if you do a Big Fix and how does it make you feel afterwards. Until next week, keep your feet on the ground, keep reaching for the stars, and please try and look after that mental health. Bye-bye now.